Hello, friends. It's Chapo.
Put it on the forehead.
And now you're ready to die for
Yep, you're ready to die for the governor.
Well, actually, speaking of loyalty and people willing to die for dear leader, great article in the Washington Post. This is like summarizing a book that just came out about Trump and his relationship to his beautiful, handsome
His
generals.
beautiful generals.
He said a headline: Trump wanted loyal generals like Hitler's.
God, it's so good. It's because the way he acts, it's like designed to specifically trigger people, like liberals in a way. Like, he's not Hitler. He can't do Hitler stuff, but he can say exactly what a guy who wanted to do Hitler stuff would say. So you can just keep reading it and getting more and more freaked out every time you hear a new one of these amazing quotes.
Yeah, it's like January 6th being like an attempted coup. I mean, by the standards of language, absolutely.
Yep.
By the standards of they had no plan, and then on January 5th, like someone in his office watched Bush v. Gore on HBO and was like, "Oh, we need a James Baker guy."
Yeah.
And then they all assumed another guy would find one.
They figured there'd be one guy who'd figure out the paperwork. Oh yeah, now he gets to be president forever.
Yeah.
Oh great.
Okay. We need to go into the Capitol and have like a waterhead spree until someone finds James Baker.
Reading here in the Washington Post, it says, former President Donald Trump has proved time and again that he is no student of history, despite citing the past with the regularity of a thunderstorm on a summer afternoon. The latest example comes from The New Yorker, which has published an excerpt from Peter Baker and Susan Glazer's upcoming book, The Divider, Trump in the White House, 2017-2021, focused on Trump's troubles with the military men in his administration, whom he once referred to as my generals. At one point, according to the book, he complained to his chief of staff, John F. Kelly, a former Marine general, asking why he and others couldn't be totally loyal to him, like the German generals in World War II. You do know that they tried to kill Hitler 3 times and almost pulled it off, Kelly allegedly responded. So were Adolf Hitler's generals yes men, or did they really plot to assassinate him 3 times and get close once? Well, yeah. You've seen the movie Valkyrie starring Tom Cruise. God, I would love a Valkyrie-style movie about John F. Kelly in the White House failing to assassinate Trump.
Failing to resign.
Yeah, failing to.
Wow.
Oh man, I want them to be totally.
I want them to be loyal.
Did he see the downfall clip and was just like, "That's how I want generals to be."
I want everybody to listen when I'm talking.
That's literally it. He probably saw that they were still afraid of Hitler.
Yeah. And of course, John Kelly, they tried to assassinate him 3 times. It's like, yes, there were a few groups of German officers who came together at various times to try to get Hitler. The Stauffenberg plot is the most serious one that did almost get him. But it's not like that's the average German general. They all fucking went along with it. They were all loyal enough.
Well, yeah, as were Trump's generals to him. They were loyal enough.
And then Kelly gets to fantasize, well, I'd be Stauffenberg. It's like, dude, look at you. You aren't. You're Bormann. You're Bormann, dude. You fucking idiot. I know it's not the same thing because everything is now more, it's not the intense drama of fascism. It's just this boring technocratic death machine. But you are in the same spot relative to everybody else as he was. You're not Stauffenberg, bro.
There's another excerpt from this book, or another thing that came out this week. I saw Jake Tapper very indignantly tweeting about it, but it was another thing with John Kelly just being Trump's personal cum sock, just soaking up all of his just all of his oafish.
The fact that his kid died in the war too is just it's like you couldn't write that. You couldn't write it. To have this this guy who lived and breathed his whole life this notion of American service, and even sent his son in to do it, and had him get murked in this pointless fucking war, and then he gets to command to be the human footstool for this just grotesque creature.
No,
it makes everything he's ever cared about meaningless. And what does he do? Because in real drama he would kill him.
Yeah.
He would like the South Korean dude. He'd fucking just murk him. He would do something honorable. But because we live in this fucking world that doesn't have the dignity of fiction, it's just this pathetic loser who just every day takes it and just shrinks into a husk until all he cares about is getting media suck-offs to believe that he's somebody else.
Yeah, he gave his son's life so he could tell Meredith Vieira about the process of writing his book that he didn't even write. Like,
God,
he did a Skype call
nauseating. It's just like
Yeah.
at that level, like they have taken your soul in a meaningful way.
How do you not kill yourself? Like, how are you
Because
not?
it's not there. Like whatever
Yeah.
we're talking about when we talk about what it is to be a human being, the experience of pursuing that life, you don't know it's gone. You still think it's there. It's like a hollow echoing that you have to reaffirm by getting other people to affirm that it's there, like media
Yeah.
suck-offs. But it's gone.
yeah, and there's
you'll
prob-
never get it back.
There's probably some small part of him that's like, oh, by writing this book,
Yeah.
will prevent
Of
him
course.
from being president
Of course,
again.
but that's it. That's always it. There's always this pathetic self-justification, but over the years, it just gets more flimsy and pathetic and ridiculous until, you just have your old grotesque, falling apart body and just a complete legacy of ashes,
Well, the example
including
I
your
was talking
sons.
about, the John,
shitty
another thing that John.
life.
Another load that John Kelly had to take on his face was when Trump won. Remember when he wanted to do the military parade right
Yep.
after he got elected?
It's like, sir, the streets are not graded for Abrams tanks. The fucking the pavement is just going to be flying.
Well, apparently, Trump was demanding that there be no injured soldiers in the parade because he was like, they make me look bad. And apparently, John Kelly said to him, he said, "Sir, in our society, there is only one group of people more heroic than these men that you see here. They're buried at Arlington Cemetery." And Trump was like, "Don't want them. Look, they make me look bad.
Losers.
They'll be hobbling around.
I don't want the losers.
You want to see their cool RoboCop limbs, and
Yep.
fuck,
That's
goddamn."
what you were fighting for, John. That's what it was all
gave
for.
everything to that.
You gave yourself and your family's bloodline to this just machinery of monstrosity to exalt the worst in us and to deify it. Congratulations.
There's been a bunch of good Trump stuff lately because he was CPAC. Unfortunately, we did not get to go to CPAC this year.
In Dallas.
Yeah, no. Instead of doing hallucinogens at a Dallas convention center watching Viktor Orban start World War III, we were on psychedelics at Pickathon listening to Jizza, the genius.
That was a better use of time.
Yeah, I think that was a psychologically a healthier experience. By the way, everyone, I just want to apologize once again for Felix not being at Pickathon, and I'm really just feel bad for Felix 'cause I know how gutted you were that you couldn't be at all day outside all day listening to music.
Well, like
standing around talking about music, listening to music. You really missed out, dude.
The thing about me is like I love live music so much. I don't care who's playing. I just like the experience of live music so much that I'll go to any show. I go to 20 shows a week just because I like the live music experience of standing around and like seeing if the bathroom is usable so much.
Well,
I like looking for 4 ounces of water.
Okay, well, I will say this about Pickathon. I will say this about Pickathon. On both of those fronts.
Okay.
Pickathon was
they had a ton of
immaculately
bathrooms,
won.
and they had free water everywhere.
Yeah, there was drinking water. There was free cold drinking water everywhere. The porta potty facilities. Like I never waited online for more
Not
than
for a second.
for
And it
30
was clean.
seconds.
There was no bog.
Yeah.
Woodstock 99 style. I will say this though. Yes, good facilities, good water, but there still was just a critical mass of music heads. I think that would have been the real problem.
Yeah,
That's a lot of music heads.
Yeah, why are you learning all those notes for? You gonna make a song? Guess what? No one's gonna buy it. And that guitar, how much did that cost? $10,000. Now you're in the hole. How many people bought your thing on Bandcamp, buddy?
Well, I will say another thing about Pickathon. It was a extremely family friendly environment. There were lots of kids there, so I think I felt a little bit more comfortable knowing that these were sort of moderate, responsible music users rather than problem.
They were
music
able
addicts.
to balance a life of music and family.
I would say that's the least responsible music user is someone they have to bring their family there. Like if you like went to a crack den and there were a bunch of kids there, you're like, oh, good, these are like responsible crack users. They have kids.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, they were. I mean, like, look, the kids had like a sort of like earmuffs on. So I mean, they weren't letting their kids smoke crack. They weren't letting them listen to music.
Yeah,
All right.
They were just, they were just there.
Yeah.
And so
They were vibing.
Actually, I would describe Pickathon as the most family-friendly event in the world where you can also be offered mushrooms within 30 seconds of asking for them.
It's true. It's a good combo.
It was shout out Alexander, by the way. I said I would do that, and they treated us wonderfully. But no, moving on. I just want to talk about Trump at CPAC for a minute. I mean, it was just the comment he made about how former White House doctor and now Congressperson Ronnie Jackson loved looking at my body. He loved looking. He said he loved looking at my body, and he was calling him out. The Ronnie Jackson was standing up in the crowd, beaming as Trump was talking about how he was the best doctor in the world because he quote loved looking at my body and said I was the healthiest president of all time. And he's like, and I was like, who is this guy? I don't know who this guy is, but I like this guy. He loves my body. I know, like it's an oft abused joke on this show, but like I just would entreat you, the listener, along with Matt and Felix, to seriously consider what it would be like to gaze upon Trump's nude body.
I think I would need a camera. I would need a camera obscura. I would need to look through a pinhole in a shoebox if I wanted to look at that. It seems like it would be a non-Euclidean space. Just like this tessellation of bulges and just pale white, like, just fish belly white, like that entire chapter of Moby Dick about the terror of whiteness. Right there on his horrifying torso.
Ronnie Jackson was the guy who was like, when he would do his exams, would be like, not only is his like heartbeat the best I've ever seen, he's in the best shape ever. I thought like he could pass for a 51-year-old man.
And then the second that happened, he gets nationally known for giving this this diagnosis. He just like eats a bunch of pills and drives a car to a fucking bridge. Immediately.
Yeah.
Like, the first hint of any kind of notoriety, an entrance into the news cycle. Hey, a little bit. Hey, this guy, Ronnie Jackson, he thinks Trump's a stud. Immediately got clocked, smash. And then, of course, because this is the world that Trump has made, it's like, I'm not going to resign in disgrace. I'm going to run for fucking Congress. And now I'm in Congress. I'm one of your Congress people. Fuck you.
Well, I liked him because before he was Trump's doctor, he was just known as this guy in like who was, I guess, like a military doctor, but like was known as like a Dr. Feel Good.
Yeah, he was the guy.
Military, which is
he was
awesome.
a Nick Riviera style guy. He would write out any prescription you want. And so what a shock that they come to him to say, we need you to say that the president's body is perfect. He'll be like, no problem, dude.
Yeah, no,
I've been saying shit for years.
It was his Dr. Spichemin.
Yep.
You are going to die. What? No! When I tell you who I'm dating. Squeaky Fromm. She is difficult.
And now he's in Congress.
Being a Dr. Feel Good for like the Pentagon is so that's what the best I can surmise his role was before Trump found him.
Yeah. Like some guys are planning.
But Trump really was like Hitler. He was getting shot up with fucking speed and dilaudid and shit.
Yeah. Like he comes in, like it's 2000. It's the summer of 2002, and he comes into a room and there's a bunch of guys in uniforms plotting the assassination of Shah Massoud, and they're fucking he's shooting them up all with amphetamines. He knows where the bodies are buried, which is why they let him just drive that car wherever he wants.
Yeah. For like a guy working in the E-ring, I don't think you're giving him like Vicodin. That's like a little trashy. I think you're giving like there is medicinal cocaine that you can get. I think it's like more fun stuff like that, like more uppers.
Oh yeah, no, they're all on uppers. They're playing. They're throwing shit at the wall. I mean, you got to. How do you get a situation like in Syria where the CIA the CIA proxies are shooting it out with the DOD proxies? That's cocaine right there.
Yeah. No,
How do you think so many restaurants are opened on American military bases? Oh man. Was there any other good news out of CPAC? I barely covered. I mean, there's Viktor Orban. Just
I guess
being like,
it was the only thing I heard of was Orban.
Yeah,
and he was just spitting. It's very disheartening, honestly, because people want him to be this figure who has synthesized all of the contradictions out there in Hungary. He's bringing you this like purified, sort of a maybe even pre-capitalist conception of like citizenship in the state. And then he just comes to Texas and he's like waving a fucking 10-gallon hat around and being like, no pronouns in Budapest. And you realize like, it's all just revolves around the shitty brain-destroying axis of like American politics. And it's all just a reflection of that and downstream of that. And it can't have any independent force, even if you wanted it to.
Viktor Orban, though, a somewhat portly gentleman. I mean, he's
a big boy.
He was chugging beer and gnawing pork knuckles.
He was shirtlessly.
To the splendid amusement of all the entire crowd at CPAC. We're grinning, clapping.
His little hands.
He sucks so much, Orban. I watched that speech and he's like, we need more Chuck Norris. It's like you should kill yourself. You fucking suck,
He did say,
dude.
God, he did say that.
I forgot about that.
He did say that.
Fucking
It's like,
loser.
This is just embarrassing. Like, you have come and bent the knee completely. Like, you don't think you're global homo talking about Chuck Norris?
Walker said, I have AIDS, Viktor Orban.
Yeah, it's like that's the West you're defending. You should die or convert to Islam
And
right
then,
now.
and then his visionary like socio-political model is just like a pseudo-populist dispersal of EU subsidies. That's it. Just like grabbing the spigot of like German perverts throwing money around and just giving it to selected supporters.
Yeah, being a NATO member and like being against Russia, getting like German banking surplus, and then every 3 years like passing a referendum that's like two men can't go to IKEA together.
Yeah. Like it's like watching guys like Dreyer like go, this is what I want. It's like, you want the full suspension of politics and its replacement with just a pure ego-soothing spectacle of your enemies being embarrassed and humiliated by the state. That's it.
Well, that's what we all want.
That's all you want.
That's
There's
what we
nothing.
all want.
You're not
Everyone's the
building
same.
anything. You're not making it so that people can live lives of dignity. You're seeing your enemies humbled, and that's all we have left to offer. Anybody. That's all.
Oh, speaking of
any political formation that can actually like significantly challenge for power, that's all that they can offer.
Speaking of shaming your enemies, did you see like an interesting like news digression that came out of the Mar-a-Lago raid? Is the revelation that the Twitter account based Mike Lee is just Mike Lee.
Utah, man.
God.
Fucking Utah.
Based Mike Lee.
God. What a fucking shitty moment in culture.
The Mormons, they all end up getting the memes.